And, of course, huge game this weekend. Last weekend was a big game with Buffalo and Miami. And, of course, Buffalo dismantled the Dolphins. But this weekend, Dallas and San Francisco. My goodness. You got San Francisco, one of only two teams left in the entire league that's undefeated at 4-0, along with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you've got Dallas, which is 3-1, but their 3 victories have been incredibly impressive. I mean, they've destroyed their opponents in the 3 games that they've won. They beat the Giants 40-0. They beat the Jets 30-10. Lost to the Cardinals inexplicably, and then destroyed the Patriots 38-3 last weekend, Rob. And that was the worst loss of Bill Belichick's career in terms of margin. So Dallas has been impressive, and that game coming up this weekend, and it's a lot on the line. It's just a regular season game, but these are 2 of the top, that most people feel like 2 of the top 3 teams in the NFC. And so Jerry Jones was talking about it, and look, he gave a lot of love to the 49ers. Here he is.
They are right now probably the most likely team to go in the Super Bowl. But in order for them to get there, they've got to go by us, hopefully 2 times, if that's the way it falls in the playoffs. And we're in the playoffs, of course. But the bottom line is that you're playing the best. You don't need the game to tell you that you're playing the best, but you need the game to show you how you stack up against the best.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I think Jerry may be, throwing out some stuff, trying to maybe make the 49ers feel good about themselves, maybe lighten up a little bit. I don't think that'll happen. But, he's throwing them big-time love. Oh, they're the team expected to go to the Super Bowl. They're supposed to be the best, and they are. Certainly one of those teams. But I think he might be throwing a little bit of that out there, Rob. Let me ask you this, because this is a big game for both teams, obviously, right? Who do you think needs the win more, San Francisco or Dallas?
I don't think it's San Francisco, so I just have to say it's Dallas. I mean, they're 4-0. They've done what they needed to do. They're not going to win every game, and they're not going to be undefeated. So, I don't think that they go into it like that. But I would say Dallas, just because they've had the bump in the road. I know they beat the Patriots. Patriots aren't that good. You know what I mean? If they were to get steamrolled here, then you would start to question and wonder really how good they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing that really is to play. And even if you're the 49ers and you lose to the Cowboys, it's not the end of the world. Like nobody thought they're going to win every game. So, oh my God, you lost a game. What's wrong? It wouldn't be like that. You might criticize or analyze, how you lost and what happened, if there were turnovers or poor play, but it wouldn't be like a defining moment for the 49ers whatsoever.
No, I think it definitely means more for the Cowboys to win. And look, we say this, both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to make nice runs, or at least they got a great chance to. So we're not saying like it's a must-win in terms of playoff positioning or anything like that. But, Rob, I think for the Cowboys, why it's so important is because psychologically, let's face it, San Francisco has a little something on them. San Francisco has been the team that has eliminated the Cowboys from the playoffs the last 2 years. And it's been kind of ugly the way it's ended for the Cowboys. And Dak Prescott, we all talk about his mistakes and will he show up in the big games and can he get it done? Well, he's got 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in those 2 playoff games against the 49ers.
And their offenses look bad.
Yeah, in those games, absolutely. And so I think psychologically for the Cowboys, they need to get this win so that if they face them in the playoffs, they're not thinking, man, this team has beaten us the last 3 times. Can we get it done? Or, man, this is what's happened the last 2 years in the playoffs. If they beat them, they kind of exercise those demons, so to speak, and they can feel great about themselves if they meet them in the playoffs. And so I think they need it for that. And also, Rob, if the Cowboys get beat, and I don't really expect either team to win in a blowout, but if the Cowboys get beat by the Niners, then people, and this is just outsiders, so it doesn't have to affect the Cowboys, but people are going to kind of view the rest of their season with like kind of a mental asterisk there, like, okay, yeah, but can they get past the Niners in the playoffs?
That would be out there until they do it.
Right. It'll be like they could go freaking 15-2. And people will still be like, yeah, but they can't beat the Niners. So that's a heavy burden to carry on yourself. And so for those reasons, Rob, I do think it's not a must win, obviously. They're still
too
a very
early in
good
the season.
team,
Right.
And they'll have a shot. But I do think for them psychologically, Rob, it would go a long way in helping them if they can win this game.
Yeah, and the Cowboys, I mean, they're my pick out of the NFC, Chris, to finally get so many, and I'm not like heads over heels over it. I just think that at some point, something's going to happen for you, and the 49ers can't win all the time, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that I look at it.
The Cowboys are a good team. I mean,
they are. But it's also,
they're a very
like,
good team. There's no doubt.
I am one of these people that do believe in, like, at some point, something's going to change here. All right,
Except
Cowboys.
for Detroit.
Except for the Lions, right? Because I lived that for 20 years. So when they do it, I'll give them credit.
In Dallas, they're saying it's been 28.
Nah, but they won before. That's the difference, is that they have won. Let me say this about the Cowboys, Chris. So they're only averaging 294 yards per game in the last that playoff game against the 49ers.
Right.
So that's down from 381 that they averaged across the last two regular seasons. So it's a big drop-off, almost 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, look.
As far as the 49ers being able to handle them.
Defense, and I think the thing is San Francisco bullies teams, and so does Philadelphia. And that's what I want to see. I want to see how the Cowboys match up with that. Because, look, the Cowboys have been run on. Heck, Arizona bullied them, which was shocking, but it happened. And so San Francisco is tough on both front lines. That defense is tough on every level. And they're going to try to beat the Cowboys up. And the Cowboys got to show that they're not just a finesse team. They're not just a speed team. But they can, get down and dirty too. And so I think that's a huge element of this game coming up. And then, of course, Rob, the quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. But Rob, I think he's 10-0 now. Rob G, correct me if I'm wrong. 10-0 in the regular season. In the games he started, he's 12-0, including playoff games that he started and finished. He's gone 211 passes without an interception. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. Last 8 games hasn't had a pick. And remember, last year, 3 of those games were against 3 teams in the top 10 in takeaways. Seattle, Dallas, Seattle, and Philadelphia.
What are his numbers, though?
The numbers are fantastic. He's in the top 10 in everything.
What is his touchdowns, interception, and his
5-0? Now he doesn't have a ton of touchdowns this year, but the ratio is 5-0. He leads the league in passer rating. He's like top 5 in completion percentage. He's averaging 255 yards a game. Like, he's getting it done. Now, Look, they got a ton around him. I'm not sitting here saying the dude is, Mahomes or Josh Allen, but when you have that much around you, Rob, you know what? Can you make the throws and don't make mistakes? Right?
Well, that's the big part.
And he's not making the mistakes.
Don't give it away. Absolutely.
And that's the thing with Dak. Everybody's wondering, I don't know. Do you feel like Dak has to make some big plays in this game? I mean, obviously got to play well and make some throws, but
Yeah, I mean,
is it a
it's
game
more
where he has
about
to carry him, or just it's more?
Nah, it's more about,
we like
to
him
me,
as a game manager.
not making the big mistakes.
Right.
Like that's just play your game, but you can't cough it up. That's
He's
the
done
Dak,
that. Like I said, 3 interceptions the last 2 games.
two
against
game,
them in the
right?
playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. So that a clean game by him, and definitely not turning the ball over. So that would be big.